Welcome to Careful Consideration of Our Common Concerns. I'm Dr. Ted Noel. For those of you who've wondered, has Dr. Ted gone away? No, I haven't. I just haven't had a solid subject to talk to you about. But I've got a project going on right now. Hopefully we'll have a book on it called The Law of Subsidy. And you've heard me talk about it before. But if you go to Google or Start Page or pretty much any other search engine, you will discover that there's no such item out there unless my name is attached to it. And this is an economic principle that as you read through, you'll find is very common in various discussions. It's just not called the Law of Subsidy. Now, the Law of Subsidy is very simple. It says that when you subsidize something, you get more of it. Well, that's very obvious. If I'm starting to spread money around on something, I'm going to have a lot more people want to come do it. That's what subsidy does. You're going to get more of it, and it's going to get more expensive. Now, that isn't quite so obvious, but we will see it as we make various discussions along the way. Now, the law of subsidy is a universal law of economics, and the problem is it gets tangled up with our government. When you look at the Constitution, there is a line in it that says that we're going to do this. All of these things are set up to provide for the general welfare. Well, even the founders knew that that line could get really messed up. And so they took great pains to try to explain that the general welfare is general, that the laws under the Constitution are designed to help the country. That's the general welfare. But even with that, the courts have said, well, we can stretch this a long way. And we got a lot of bad things have come out of it. Now, what happens is anytime there's a problem and you go look at, well, we're going to get problems at the border, or we've got pick any problem. We had the shooting at Parkland. Oh my goodness, we've got to do something. Predictably, the left says we need to ban guns. And the right says, no, we need to let teachers carry guns. They're going different directions. But the fact is that they're both in the let's do something mold. That's what they're all about, is we've got to do something. And if you are in a congressional seat or a state representative seat, if you can be seen as doing something, then you're being the right person in the right place at the right time, and it helps you get reelected. Fortunately, in the state of Florida, we have an 8-year term limit on our state representatives. 4 terms, you're gone. The governor, 2 terms, you're gone. And on and on. These are things that make it very clear that we have to have citizen representation. Of course, in Congress, we don't have anything of the sort, and that's a whole subject for a different time. But the key is there is this universal motivation by legislators to do something. And it's usually sold under false pretenses. If I do something, whatever it is, it's going to make things better. We never check to see if it did. That's one of the nice things about Donald Trump, is that when he looks, he says, this ain't working, we got to change course. And in a lot of places, he's done the right thing. But that's always just the first step in the chain. There are going to be many, many steps that we have to tease out, because ultimately you have to find out, quo bene, who benefits. Or in the form of Suttons Law, follow the money. Remember, Willie Sutton supposedly robbed banks because that's where the money was. Congress critters are the bank or think they are the bank, and they will happily spend your money to get reelected. So we have to look at it and see, where does the benefit actually flow? And along the way, we are going to do periodic installments. We're going to look at narcotics. For example, the drugs that El Chapo sold had the same cost of production as aspirin. So how did he become a multi-billionaire selling aspirin? We have to follow the chain, one step at a time, all the way along. When we look at education, why is it that my dad was able to go to college, support a family, and come out with no debt? Why is it that my brothers were able to support themselves with just a little bit of help from dad and do work, do full-time, get degrees and so on, and have minimal or no debt at the end? But now that my daughter has gone to medical school, it cost her 10 times as much as it cost me. Same school, same programs, but what I had to pay back $25,000, she's paying back $250,000, and that's after my help. So it's even more than 10 times when the consumer price index has only gone up 40%. What's going on here? Something is really, really bad. We need to track down step by step, where is the benefit? Medical care. Why is it that years back you could afford to pay for things? When I broke my arm, you may be able to see the scar here. I had a nasty break in that arm right around my 10th birthday. And my parents were able to pay the doctor for his fee. Yeah, they had some health insurance, but basically he was paid. Not a big deal. We can go on and on. Lots of things got done. Nowadays, we have all of these stories of people who are being bankrupted by medical bills. I got a medical bill myself for a procedure not long ago where the total price listed was $100,000 for a procedure that took less than an hour, where I went home right after surgery. And you scratch your head and you go, why did it cost that much? There's all kinds of things out there that make no sense. We have to trace the money. In each case, we're going to find that the law of subsidy is in play. And it is there because Congress saw a chance to claim an advantage for itself. And that advantage was always claimed out of your pocket. So, ultimately, it doesn't matter whether it's drugs, education, medical care, pharmaceuticals, high school education. How about poverty? Oh yes, poverty is subsidized. We're going to cover each one of these in an installment a little further down each time. So for the time being, remember, the law of subsidy says that when you subsidize something, it gets more you get more of it, and it gets more expensive. It is a universal law, and it is the means by which our federal government is destroying our society, and why it is the Tax Freedom Day is in the middle of the year instead of being somewhere in January. It's just nuts, because everything that's subsidized is paid for out of your pocket. Just think about it. For all of the tens of thousands of dollars you spend every year on health insurance premiums, your taxes are paying for almost the same amount for the people who aren't paying for their health insurance. There's a whole lot more to come, so stay tuned. Until next time, take a look at those links below Join me on MeWe or on Parlay, the new non-censoring, non-tracking versions of Facebook and Twitter. But if you must use the old left-wing censoring versions, we're still on Facebook and at VidZet on Twitter. The message is what matters. I'm Dr. Ted Noel. Thanks for watching.